Grow Garden has tons of items, but if you had a chance to get one, what would it be? A candy blossom, a Kitsune, or maybe something so simple it sounds crazy like an uncommon egg. So these are 15 items that you're lucky to own, starting with the raspberry. You might be wondering why this tiny seed is so wanted, and that's because it released during the very first update in Grow Garden. Yeah, back then the first seed pack that released was the normal seed pack, but nowadays it's everything but normal. Inside, you'll find the exact same seeds that Sam sells now, like the watermelon, the pumpkin, and at the very bottom is the raspberry. And here's the weirdest part. It's one of the only seeds that Sam decided not to sell. But you may be asking yourself, but Sam doesn't sell the peach either. And you would be somewhat right. So that's why the peach is even more luckier to own than the unique raspberry. Sam may not have the peach in stock nowadays, but back then, Sam accidentally sold it, which technically made the seed available for the very small amount of people who noticed it in stock. Now, some of you may realize that you actually own both the raspberry and the peach, and that's because the normal seed pack returned during the summer harvest update, and that was only around a month ago, and most of you played during that time. Or you noticed that the peach looks very similar to the bone blossom, or at least that's what I thought whenever I got the seed from the dinosaur quest. Now the bone blossom wasn't necessarily difficult to get, as you had around 2 weeks to do around 21 simple challenges like harvesting blueberries, but what people regret nowadays is that they didn't get more than one. You see, back then you had a chance to spend shekels to restart the quest, and bone blossoms nowadays are super OP. If you use them during the Zen update, you got more Zen coins, and during the cooking update, bone blossoms allow you to cook even crazier recipes. Yep, this is my bone blossom pie. You know, it's just a little big. And what's crazy is that my friend went to the extent of duplicating his own bone blossoms using raccoons. Oh, and if you own a raccoon, consider yourself lucky. So I award my friend for outsmarting the game with this trophy. Now this is the Monster Mash trophy, and it's one of those cosmetics that a lot of players wish they owned. So if you own this trophy, consider yourself lucky, because it's the only trophy to ever release in Grow Garden. And it was given out to the players who attended the Monster Mash event on May 24th. Yeah, I guess all they did here was do the Monster Mash, which I guess would make sense. Back in the day, I remember seeing tons of these trophies in gardens, but nowadays, not so much. But this next item was only released during a secret update that lasted for 24 hours. This was the July 4th update, and the NPC known as Uncle Sam only stocked once. I do believe you had a chance to get a few of these crates during the July 4th update, but players were excited to get the chance to unbox the Uncle Sam gnome. Now what's weird is that gnomes aren't worth a lot of value. You can't really sell them, but as a collector of the gnomes, I was lucky enough to get my hands on one of these. Okay, obviously this is not me. I never got the chance to get one of these. But another gnome that players are lucky to have is the 1x1x1x gnome. Now this is the rarest gnome in all of Grow Garden, since it only has a 1% chance from the iconic gnome crate. Now this gnome is still obtainable in Grow Garden. You just have to wait for the gnome merchant to spawn beside Sam's seed shop and pray the iconic gnome crate is still in stock. But this gnome is only rare because of its lore. You see, the Roblox account 1x1x1x1x was created by the former administrator John Chaletsky, and the account was created as a joke to start some evil lore in Roblox. However, real hackers decided to turn this joke into reality, and they decided to release thousands of exploits in the Roblox games. So this gnome is one of the first lore bits in Roblox, and the panda was technically the first ever pet to be released in Grow Garden. And it was only available during the first hour of the annual update on May 3rd, making it the rarest pet in all of Grow Garden. However, it was released for free, so a lot of OG players probably own this pet. Let me know if you own this panda, and if you want to be an OG of this channel, make sure to subscribe to claim your OG ticket to be a part of the 100k gang. But our next pet isn't free, and that is the Kitsune. If you have one of these, consider yourself majorly lucky, as this pet is super cool, from the insane details, the red and white collars, and the 9 tails. And I know there's some Naruto fans out there, so yeah, the 9 tails fox is super cool to have. But the Kitsune released during the Zen update by hatching a Zen egg, and this is not a Kitsune. Yeah, most players never got their hands on one of these because the Kitsune had a 0.08% hatch rate. The odds of hatching one of these is like 1 out of 2,000 eggs. So yeah, you're extremely lucky if you have a Kitsune. But this next item might surprise you, the uncommon egg. Now we see a lot of limited time eggs in Grow Garden, but the uncommon egg is truly more uncommon nowadays. I often see myself returning to the shop to get an uncommon egg, but instead I come disappointed, as the summer egg took its spot in the egg shop, which is a tragedy because I really like the hatchable pets like the black bunny, the chicken, the cats, oh, and especially the deer. So I'm really surprised that Grow Garden hasn't added an NPC that sells limited time eggs. I'm not gonna lie, it does suck to see so many pets locked behind limited time updates, but if you have this eggplant, you are part of a very low percentage of players. Now I believe this happens when your game doesn't load in correctly, like a glitch. And I'm not talking about the eggplant you can get in the basic seed pack, but the one you can find inside Sam's seed shop. So let me know in the comment section down below if you have this eggplant. Also, let me know if you've ever saw this disco spray, because this spray was only available for a small amount of time from the mutation spray merchant. Here you can buy a few sprays, but if you're lucky enough, you had a chance to get a disco spray. And you're lucky because this was removed within a few hours. Mostly because fans were mad to see an admin mutation become so common. So consider yourself lucky, as the fear of making this spray common made it one of the rarest items in Grow a Garden. But what's next is a pet that nobody will ever see in game publicly, except for the admins or a small group of content creators including myself. And of course, this is the JANDEL monkey, a pet that can apply every mutation to a single fruit. Now I would read all of these mutations out loud, but there's too many. But what I am reading is that there's speculations of a JANDEL seed. Like, I don't know why this looks so funny, but it could possibly be real. As with each co-host event like the Travis Kelce and Albert, we get seeds like the fruit ball and pets like the junk bot. So I guess JANDEL needs to co-host himself so we can get some sort of JANDEL monkey or JANDEL seed. It's also worth mentioning the other admin pet, the red dragon, as I'm lucky enough to have one of these, as it's my favorite exclusive pet. And it applies the burnt mutation to your crop, so basically a better cooked owl. But are you lucky enough to have this pie? Now this isn't just any pie, but a combination of huge bone blossoms and fruits that are so massive only a Grandmaster Sprinkler could create. So yeah, I guess technically every recipe you have is super unique as it's crafted from your own personal garden. So consider yourself lucky, as nobody else has the bone blossom, blood banana, candy blossom, and 59.54 kilogram sunflower recipe. And in return, I got a candy apple that is so big it's mostly glitched under the map. But you might not be so lucky when Chef P only gives you one single food crate in return. Yeah, this guy is the most greediest pig I know. Oh my gosh. But you know, maybe Chef P gave us something good. So let's open this crate. And a freaking coffee machine. Eagle, can you believe this garbage? So sometimes it's best to hold on to these unique recipes unless you have something even more luckier. And this is a sunflower, but not just any sunflower. It's a collection of 4 sunflowers, each held by a different player. And you get this while standing in front of the sun god to obtain the dawnbound mutation. Yeah, this is one of the few Easter eggs in Grow a Garden where you can unlock a secret mutation. And on top of that, it gives your sunflower a 150 times value. But JANDEL says there's also a secret Easter egg during the spaceship event, but I guess nobody has found it yet. Now there has been rumors floating around that if you have 4 more players standing on the top of the highest meteor, letting it crash, it has a 0.4% chance to apply the Star Rise mutation during space. Of course, that's just a theory, but what's not a theory is that JANDEL will never add the candy blossom back to Grow a Garden. Yeah, consider yourself the most luckiest player to ever exist if you have a candy blossom, as every player wants one of these. And that's because this blossom released during the Easter event, which happened super early in the Grow a Garden life cycle. And the only relic we have from this update is the chocolate sprinkler, as they added this back during the summer harvest update. So if you have one of these, make sure to keep your account safe and consider yourself an OG. Oh, and let me know how many of these items you own, and here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Bye!